All right, guys, before we get into this show, I'm not pulling any punches. Get the 16-round draft solution. Guys, straight up with you guys. No BS. No more cookie cutter, cheat sheets, draft kits. That's all dead. The future has arrived. Get the 16-round draft solution, the first ever and only video training where I walk you through all the optimal players for drafting each round. I'm literally handing you as close to a championship as humanly possible for fantasy football. There's no guarantees in fantasy. This is as close as you can get because I make sure your roster is optimal. From breakouts to sleepers to making sure you have depth on your roster to looking at who the potential breakouts are, who's in the optimal position to succeed on their depth chart. Everything you need, including a full mock draft for each month of this season as it's scaled up and the ADPs has changed. Everything is there. Get the 16-round draft solution at thefantasyfootballcounselor.com. I've linked it below. Guys, lion mentality. Let's crush fantasy football together. Get 16 rounds today. Now let's get to that show.
Hey, it's Josh Jacobs, and you're listening to the Fantasy Football Counselor.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. Joseph Robert, the Fantasy Football Counselor. Big episode today. We're talking about 5 wide receivers you must own. Very important episode. I'm going to give you guys 5 guys I really like, and I got to own at least 3 to 5 of these guys on my roster, okay? I've already plugged it at the beginning of the show, but I cannot plug it enough because I put my heart and soul into it. Get the 16-round draft solution. Don't hesitate, guys. Listen, championships on the line, bragging rights on the line, trophies on the line, everything. Potential punishment is on the line. You don't get punished. You want to be the winner of your league. I'm going to give you guys the best competitive advantage to crush your leagues. Linked it below. 16 rounds, guys. Don't wait. Get it. I've put everything into this, guys. I live and breathe fantasy football. I want you guys to get the edge. Get it below. Now, let's get to these wide receivers here that you must draft. Get on it. Do it. Make sure they're on your roster. At least a couple of these guys anyway, because I'm telling you, you need to be sharp with Fantasy Football 2020. People are somewhat getting smarter. There's still a lot of sheep out there drafting on ADP, but a lot of people are getting a little bit wiser now. So you need to stay on top of your game. First guy here, you must draft him, but listen, if you are going wide receiver, you must draft him. The guy is Julio Jones if you're going wide receiver early. Now, personally with me, I'm going robust RB, but listen, in the first 4 rounds, if you can get a wide receiver, you can sneak in an ace wide receiver, do it, because you can still get Gurley and David Johnson at 3 and 4. Round 2 and 3, typically, right? Even 4, you get yourself a David Montgomery. It doesn't matter. Go back and check the must draft running back show. And also 16 rounds explains this also. You can save a whole lot of time and just get the 16-round draft solution, But listen, Julio Jones, you can get him at late first round and then start going robust RB. You get a Miles Sanders, Gurley, come back at David Johnson, maybe get an Akers, Montgomery. But listen, I'll tell you this. I'm going robust RB because it's the most scarce position on the roster, and you cannot get good running backs after the 5th round. You could have guys that could break out, a DeAndre Swift. You can get a guy like Madison who could take the starting job. You can get another guy like Melvin Gordon who could emerge there and be the guy. I mean, he is the wide running back 1, but Philip Lindsay's going to be a pest. But if Philip Lindsay goes down, now you've got Melvin Gordon, full workhorse. Like, there is guys and hypotheticals after the 5th round that could really shine this year if another running back goes down or something like that, or if they emerge on the depth chart. But you need to secure those running backs because they're guaranteed that volume early on. But if you do go wide receiver, Julio Jones is a guy, if you go wide receiver early, okay, that you can get. Secure, solid, 150 targets guaranteed. His touchdowns haven't been the greatest throughout the years. Had 6 touchdowns last year, but look for another 6 touchdowns. But he's going to get the PPR volume there, and he's going to get the yardage. He's always a big yardage guy. 1,394 yards last year. I'm expecting that to stay similar. A guy that's always going to finish the top 5 if healthy. I'm expecting a huge season out of the Falcons. Love this offense. Matt Ryan coming off a little bit of a down year. That should step up this year. Absolutely love Julio Jones this season, okay? He's a must-have, a guy you must draft. Next guy here, a guy you can get in the 3rd round or end of the 2nd round, is Kenny Golladay. Absolutely love him. Finished 9th last year. This was a guy who was getting in the 3rd round all my drafts last year while people were getting Odell in round 1. This is why you guys have to subscribe and leave a thumbs up. By the way, a thumbs up to the channel really helps the channel. So if you are watching on YouTube, if you're listening in the car, give me a visual thumbs up in the car. Make sure you don't take your hands off the wheel. But thumbs up in the air. Listen, I appreciate it, guys. It really helps the channel. And again, leave your fantasy questions below. I'll try to keep it real with you guys and get to as many people as I possibly can. Kenny Golladay, like I said, everyone was drafting Odell last year. I was getting Kenny G in the third round. Still had a good season, even though he had scrubs throwing him the ball all season when Stafford went down. But when Stafford was there, still, looking really solid. Now, I know a lot of people are scared of Marvin Jones. I'm not. He had an inflated season because he had one game where he had like 4 touchdowns in one game. He went all Al Bundy on you. If you guys are old enough to know, Al Bundy, I think, had 4 touchdowns in one game. Still had to verify his position. I think he was quarterback, but that doesn't matter. Either way, or receiver or something like that. Kenny Golladay, finished 9th last year, over 1,000 yards, 1,190 yards, 11 touchdowns on 116 targets. 116 targets, that's going to go up this season. I love him, man. I love the ceiling for this guy. And he's a guy that you can get late second, early third as part of a robust RB strategy. You slide him in there to get your ace wide receiver. You'll be a very happy person. Now, I am in this fishbowl with some of the so-called top Sheepsis guys. And in the league, I actually did it. It's a super flex where you can start 2 quarterbacks. I ended up waiting on quarterback because I wanted to really get those running backs. So I went Saquon, Jacobs, Gurley, and I ended up getting Golladay in round 4. Not bad, man. So try to sneak him in your running back robust RB strategy, okay? I love him. Got to draft him. Next guy here, if you're done your robust RB strategy and you need a wide receiver, he's sitting there in the 5th round, is T.Y. Hilton. You can get him or Shark, but T.Y. Hilton's a guy you must draft. Why? There's always a reason why. There's a method to the madness. Why? Because he's on a high-octane offense, potentially with Rivers. Rivers was 7th in attempts last year, so I got a quarterback that's going to be throwing him the ball a lot. Hilton's a guy who hasn't had a good quarterback thrown to him the past couple years, so I think he emerges, comes back, if healthy, can be a top 10 wide receiver. If you get Hilton, make sure you combo him with Pittman later. I know Paris Campbell is doing well in training camp, but I think Pittman's the guy. They invested high draft capital in him. The Colts did. So Pittman's a guy, get him as a handcuff to Hilton, as a guy who could emerge. But I love T.Y. Hilton. I love Rivers. Love the fact that both these guys have a chip on their shoulder. They've got a great O-line. They've got Jonathan Taylor there. I love this offense this year. They're in it to win it this year. They've got some weapons there for future offense as well. But I think with Hilton and Rivers, you've got the veteran experience and you could get a lot of fantasy points here. Again, Rivers, a guy, chip on his shoulder, wants to win and also getting ridiculed as being, a mediocre quarterback. So I think he's got something to prove this year as he ages, gets older. Needs to do something this year, and I think him and Hilton could connect. 5th round value, guys. You're getting a wide receiver 1. It's a no-brainer to me. I got to have him, right? You must draft him. Next guy here, now I'm reaching for him in a lot of drafts because I don't want to miss out on him, is Deontay Johnson. We already heard Tomlin say that in his rookie year, he's made a big transition and looks physically a lot better than he does, last year. Big Ben throwing on the ball. They got Chase Claypool, who, from what I'm hearing, from what Hayden said, could be an elite wide receiver coming over the top, making some phenomenal catches in training camp. But Deontay Johnson, I am comboing him with Chase Claypool because I get these guys for immense value instead of going Juju early. A guy that did okay last year, 92 targets. That's going to go up. 5 touchdowns, that's going to go up. He's got Big Ben throwing on the ball. Big Ben, if you don't remember, led in passing yards and attempts back in 2018. Listen, I love the opportunity for Deontay Johnson. I love the opportunity for him emerging as a potential wide receiver 1 because I'm not really sold on Juju. Now, Juju could have a huge breakout year, but I don't know if I'm sold. I think Deontay is going to be the guy. Love this opportunity here. Love the value. Love the fact that Big Ben's coming back and throws a lot. I got to have him, guys. I must draft. You must draft this guy. Get Deontay Johnson. Try to get him on your roster. Great value and a guy that could emerge. And the last guy here is a fantasy football wide receiver sleeper. Great value. You can get this guy super late, is Justin Jefferson. From what I'm hearing from training camp, this guy is a plug and play. They're not going to pull back and hold back. Now, listen, 2018, Diggs had a phenomenal year. I believe he had 150 plus targets. Listen, Jefferson's going to be a plug and play. Could emerge there as a solid wide receiver 2 option. If Dalvin Cook is healthy, he's going to be distracting defenses. Jefferson, I'm telling you, man, he is good. Do not sleep on this stud here. Plug and play, huge, immense value. This is the year where wide receivers that are rookies can emerge because a lot of these teams need these guys to make an immediate impact. Jefferson, plug and play. He's groomed. He's ready to go. I love the upside here. It's a real no-brainer to me for the value you get him. You get him as a wide receiver 3 or 4 on your roster, you're loaded. You've got your robust RB strategy. You've got these wide receivers on your team. It's a no-brainer, okay? And again, I talk about all of this to make sure your roster is optimal in the 16-round draft solution. It's going to save you a lot of time. It's going to save you a lot of headache. I'm telling you guys, get the 16-round draft solution. It's all laid out for you. on a silver platter who to draft in each round, omitting all the guys to avoid, and focusing on the guys who could really, really break out and have that phenomenal year. Guys, I'm telling you guys, get it below. Also, leave your fantasy questions below and smash a thumbs up. I am really excited, guys. Fantasy football is here. We are so close this season. I can smell it. I can taste it. We are just, like 3 weeks out from the kickoff. It's going to be Texans versus Chiefs. This is where I can't wait to see David Johnson primetime coming on, on a new offense there, being the workhorse running back. Guys, I am beyond excited to get questions answered. Is Pat Mahomes going to have another amazing year? Is Lamar Jackson going to bounce back and have, not even a bounce back, but have another pinnacle year, I should say? Is Christian McCaffrey going to decline? Is Saquon Barkley going to emerge? Who's going to be the number one wide receiver for this year? So many questions, so much uncertainty. It's a male soap opera. Fantasy football entices you to make it so much better. And why not make it better? Why not make it better if you're winning? So get that 16-round draft solution. Smash a thumbs up. It helps the channel. And, of course, leave your fantasy questions below. I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you, guys. Lion mentality. If you guys want one of these shirts, the Fantasy Football Counselor under the store in the swag section, get a shirt as well. Thank you for being here, guys. And, of course, follow my antics and the madness on my social media at Fantasy Football Counselor on IG. Thank you, guys. Fantasy Football 2020 is upon us. I will see you guys next video. We'll talk soon.